All right, next question tonight, guys. Let's jump into the next one. And all I can say before we do this is hold on to your butts. Because this guy over here is about to go off. We're about to have a John Kennedy experience from this guy. All right, here we go.
Wait a minute.
Marcus. Oh, he's turning the hat backwards. Uh-oh. Watch out for spit flying on the screen. Marcus Freeman was on a podcast this week where he basically said he was misquoted and that he regrets ever saying what he did about his alma mater. There was a lot of reaction on social media from this by Ohio State fans, many of which people are like, hey, it's time to forgive him, it's time to let it go. And we threw out a poll question out there for all of you. And the poll question went something like this. It said basically, do you forgive Marcus Freeman? Or do you need more time? Or will you never forgive Marcus Freeman? Let me see if I can't pull that in real quick here and see if I can't find that, Chris. Why don't you go ahead while I do that? Pull up the poll question, give your answer why, what your answer was, and why.
Okay, Eric. You know as well as anybody from our discussions about things such as Tattoo Gate, I'm not exactly the forgiving type to begin with. Yeah, he may say he regrets what he said or proclaim that like he did last year, that it was taken out of context. But you know what? He said it. And he then comes back and he tries to say, well, I wouldn't be anywhere without Ohio State. You're right, you wouldn't be anywhere without Ohio State. And yet you still go out and disgrace yourself and your alma mater by making some stupid comment. I don't care if he was just trying to pump up his team or earn booster points with fans or earn points with fans or boosters, I should say, of Notre Dame. Simple fact is, it's unforgivable. Eric, one of your favorite questions that you like to ask our guests is what? What does it mean to you to be a Buckeye? Well, clearly, based on what he said last year, it doesn't mean a damn thing to Marcus Freeman to have been a Buckeye. He can backpedal all he wants. I don't care. I really don't. He would have been better off to just let sleeping dogs lie than to try to double down on this oops, I misspoke BS. I know last week you posed the real, very real what if scenario of if Ohio State loses to Notre Dame, then falls to that team up north, and Day either lets go or skips town with his tail between his legs, whatever should happen, and it goes to the NFL. Should Freeman be called? Despite what happened last season, I was this close to Eric. I was this close to saying, yeah, in that unlikely scenario, yeah, we should probably give him a call. But now, hell no. Not even just a heck no, a hell no. He his weak little backpedaling crap this week, trying to get back in the good graces of Buckeye fans, right before he then goes out and says, "Well, yeah, I expect to beat the Buckeyes." That doesn't work for me. Be a man, own it. Just say, "I crapped on my alma mater because I really don't care what any of you think." I wanted to boost my team's confidence and my own ego by saying I'm in a better place now and my time in Columbus was a mistake. You know, that's obviously what you think. You said it. Own it.
Are you done?
I better be because my heart's going. My blood pressure's about 200 over 180 right now.
Jason says, there's the wild man. Here is the poll question, everybody. As a Buckeye fan, have you forgiven Marcus Freeman now that he says he regrets saying what he did about Ohio State? Your answers were yes, all is forgiven. Maybe, let's give it more time. Or are you like Chris? No, he has already burned that bridge. Chris is like 48% of you. He says no. I, as you can see by my highlight there, am in the maybe. Let's give it a little more time. And let me explain why I feel like it's important that we do give this thing a little bit more time. Um, Marcus Freeman is in a tough situation at Notre Dame. And what I mean by that is this: he's really in a no-win situation there. Notre Dame has got their backs to the wall in recruiting and what they're able to do because of their academic standards, their inability to pull together NIL, and he's struggling. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I think he's going to be a really good coach. And I would not be surprised if somehow, if he could get a little bit more support from those in charge at Notre Dame who envision themselves to be more of the Midwest version of Harvard or Yale than they are a football factory, which is how they were built. If he could get a little bit more help from them, I think he could build a winner at Notre Dame. And by a winner, I don't just mean, once in a while getting into the college football playoff and getting destroyed. I mean a legitimate big time competitor who's competing for national championships. I think Marcus Freeman has that in him. And I personally, as a Buckeye fan, don't want to put our program in a place where if we need that guy, we as fans just are unwilling to accept that the guy made a comment his first few weeks on the job at Notre Dame that he obviously now regrets. Whether you feel that's hollow or not, I've got to play the long game here and think to myself, if something happens with Ryan Day and it doesn't work out, Luke Fickell is not coming back to save us. We have to have somebody with experience, and that might be the guy. I'm just putting it out there. Larry Daniels says Freeman was trying to distance himself and used a poor choice of words. He must pay penance, lose to Bucks every year. Then I'll let it slide. Did Notre Dame really think he was ready for a major program? Obviously,
They
somebody
clearly
did.
thought that he was. And you know what, Eric? Again, my problem is not with him as a coach. I believe you're right. I believe he has the ability to be a great coach. I do think he was a great defensive coordinator. I think he had a lot
We
to do.
wanted him as defensive coordinator.
I
We
believe he
we
had a
were
lot to do with,
begging for
yeah,
him.
I think he had a lot to do with Luke Fickell's success at Cincinnati. Not do I do believe Luke Fickell ultimately was the reason for his success, but I think that Freeman definitely contributed to that success.
They were a great 1-2 punch.
They were very good together.
Yes. And
But
I don't know how good they're going to be without each other.
I think Fickell's going to be just fine.
In a way, it's kind of like Tressel and D'Antonio. They're both really good. But when they were together, whew, that's national championship magic is what that is. Donald Hoffer says, I found his comments hollow.
I agree.
He was only doing what he had to motivate his team to get a beatdown. I agree as well. I agree as well. Um, but I also know that most coaches say things like that. It just so happens he let his out publicly, and
And
everything he
see,
says is
that's
under a
what he is sorry
microscope.
about, Eric. He's not sorry for what he said. He's sorry that it got out and that the train took off with it. He's not sorry about making these comments. He's sorry about what happened in the aftermath.
Yeah, and I agree with that because he didn't come out and say I'm sorry. He said I regretted it.
Yeah,
See the difference?
I do.
Um, but
He's a weasel.
he's not at Ohio State, Chris. He's
Doesn't
at
matter.
Notre Dame. Luke Fickell is a little bit more. He's a little bit more shined up as a head coach. Okay,
I
he
agree.
was he had more time under Tressel and Urban Meyer than Freeman did in his coaching career under Luke, and then I think he was also at Ohio State under Urban for a few years as a GA. But my point is this: there's a little bit more shine, and so there's a little bit more experience with the microphone for Luke Fickell. So even though behind closed doors, he might say when Ohio State goes into, Madison, he's probably going to say some things that are worse, the same, if not worse, to his players about Ohio State. But he isn't at Ohio
Luke
State.
Fickell is never going to come out and say, I'm not going to make the mistake, the same mistake twice. He's not going to basically refer to his time
Of,
at
cou-
Ohio State as
of course
as a
he's not,
mistake.
because Freeman is raw. He has no. He is like
Eric, you
he's like a
can't
puppy.
fix
He's
stupid.
like a puppy.
You can't fix stupid.
He's not stupid. He's just not as refined. Luke Fickell's more refined. That's why you wouldn't hear him say that. But I can't. We're sitting here basically debating: does Luke Fickell love his alma mater more than Marcus Freeman? I don't know.
I
Maybe
clearly think everybody loves their alma mater more than Lucas or than Freeman, based on what his comments were.
there is.
Hell, we may have Team Up North alumni that love Ohio State more than Marcus Freeman does, based on his comments.
Oh my gosh, Chris. You are on fire tonight with this, man. So what's he need to do? What does Marcus Freeman need to do in order for you to forgive the man? Can he do
Yeah,
anything?
I don't know. I I was this close last week, Eric. Like I said, I was this close last week to not necessarily forgiving, but being able to look past. And then he goes and just dredges the whole thing up again. Tries to double down on it.
But he didn't double down on it. He said he regretted it. He didn't come out and be, I don't regret
He
it.
again,
Screw the Buckeyes.
he regrets being caught. He doesn't regret, or not so much being caught, but he regrets what happened. He regrets the aftermath. He doesn't regret making the comment. Not for 1
Everybody
second.
regrets getting caught. That's the whole thing about sin, man. every,
Exactly.
everybody regrets getting caught, right? The question is is how much does that mean to him? And I'm telling you right now, as head coach of Notre Dame, if you were in his shoes, you might have not come out and said it publicly, right? But inside that locker room, you're telling every single one of your players, I'm here for you. I'm with you guys. That's my alma mater, but let's go kick their butts. Right?
And you know what? If he would have said that, fine. But he said it was a mistake. Ohio State was a mistake.
Ryan Wickerham says Fickle knows how to speak to the public more professionally. I don't. Yes, you're making my argument for me because he's more refined. He has more time. He's a trestle guy. He's a trestle guy. Larry Daniels. If Marcus is a pup, how many times can he pee on your carpet? Oh.
There you go, Larry. You got it right there, buddy.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
All we're doing is rubbing his nose in it, Eric.
Oh, oh my gosh. You're getting the newspaper out and beating the puppy, huh? This is great, man. This is a great discussion.